Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition. December 19th, 2024, featuring crypto, politics, tech. Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition. December 19th, 2024, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs from December 6th to December 12th, 2024. APT features Rose and Bruno Mars. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars collaborate on Die with a Smile. Madhubanti Bagshi and Divya present AJ Ki Rat. Peelings is by Kundakuri Shankar Babu and Lakshmi Dasa. Spotify's global weekly top songs from December 6th to December 12th, 2024. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars Die with a Smile. Rose and Bruno Mars APT. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, and Wham's Last Christmas. Nintendo US digital top sellers starting December 9th, 2024. No More Snow, Hogwarts Legacy, Fueled Up, Master Spy, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Steam's most popular games. Discover the globally top-selling and top-played games on Steam. Based on the top 100 products by revenue list, for the period from Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024, to Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. Path of Exile 2, Counter-Strike 2, Marvel Rivals, PUBG Battlegrounds, Indiana Jones, and The Great Circle. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA and EPA have issued a joint fact sheet highlighting the dangers that internet-connected HMIs present to the WWS sector. Jeffrey Xiang's Trellis Image Large is a substantial 3D asset generation model. It processes text or image prompts to produce high-quality 3D assets in formats like radiance fields, 3D Gaussians, and meshes. The foundation of Trellis is a unified structured latent SLAT representation, enabling decoding into various output formats. It utilizes rectified flow transformers specifically designed for SLAT as its robust backbones. A large-scale pre-trained models with parameters reaching up to 2 billion, trained on a vast 3D asset dataset containing 500K diverse objects. Trellis notably outperforms existing methods, including recent ones at comparable scales, and demonstrates adaptable output format selection and local 3D editing capabilities, which were absent in previous models. Apple discontinues iPhone hardware subscription service development. Apple discusses AI feature implementation with Tencent and ByteDance in China, according to sources. EU increases demands on Apple to share features with competitors, while Apple argues that Meta's 15 data law requests would compromise privacy. GitHub introduces a complimentary version of its Copilot. OpenAI reveals 1-800-CHAT-GPT, a service enabling phone calls and messages with ChatGPT. Microsoft has purchased approximately 500,000 NVIDIA Hopper chips this year, marking a significant acquisition of NVIDIA AI chips that surpasses that of its competitors. The U.S. Supreme Court has decided to review a case challenging the TikTok ban. According to Wall Street Journal, the U.S. is considering a ban on a Chinese-manufactured router used in millions of American homes, with TP-Link potentially facing a U.S. ban due to compromised routers being exploited for Chinese attacks. China has unveiled a hit list of U.S. naval targets that could be targeted in a future conflict. Roku locks exclusive U.S. streaming rights for X Games Aspen and a soon-to-be-announced X Games event coming summer 2025. The Golden Globes 2025 gift bags feature $1 million worth of items. Brazilian judge orders Adele song removed over plagiarism claim. In the United States, former President Trump insists on renegotiating a bipartisan budget agreement just days before the potential shutdown. Meanwhile, the House GOP, influenced by Elon Musk, is considering abandoning the spending bill. Mike Johnson is encountering increasing opposition from within the GOP as Musk advocates for a government shutdown. Additionally, a poll indicates that most Americans disapprove of Trump's suggestions to challenge the boundaries of democracy. Lastly, Democrats mock Trump as the vice president, while Musk interferes with the government funding bill. California has declared an emergency due to the bird flu outbreak. Meanwhile, officials in the U.S. have announced the eradication of invasive murder hornets. In the UK, Police are reportedly destroying 100 dogs each month following the ban on XL bully breeds. Experiencing structural sexism from birth is linked to quicker memory decline in late life for both black and white women in the U.S. 13 ancient Egyptian mummies were discovered with gold tongues, believed to assist them in speaking in the afterlife. Simulations reveal that the ancient hominin Lucy was not an adept runner. Disney reaches $233 million settlement for minimum wage law violations. Teamsters initiate the most extensive strike against Amazon in U.S. history. Disney's settlement of Trump defamation case sparks controversy at ABC News. Alberta introduces a U.S. border security strategy featuring sheriffs, canines, and drones, while Canada suggests a collaborative police force with the U.S. to address Trump's border issues. Trump remarked that Canada becoming the 51st state would be a fantastic idea. A New York resident admits to running a clandestine police station for the Chinese government in Lower Manhattan. China refutes the existence of secret police stations following the man's guilty plea. The Federal Reserve in the United States has decreased interest rates by 0.25 percentage points. However, it anticipates fewer rate cuts in the year 2025. Meanwhile, the Bank of Japan has maintained its interest rates at 0.25%, resulting in the yen reaching a one-month low. Additionally, China is constructing the largest artificial island airport in Dalian. Elon Musk's alleged drug use and connections with Vladimir Putin have reportedly hindered SpaceX from seeking higher security clearance, according to a report. Following an investigation into January 6th, the House GOP has aligned with Trump and targeted Liz Cheney. Previously, Trump advocated for an FBI investigation into Republican Liz Cheney regarding her involvement in the January 6th panel. Trump mentioned that Liz Cheney could be in a lot of trouble due to her actions with the January 6th committee. Uber and its CEO have each contributed $1 million to Trump's inaugural fund. Chinese astronauts achieve a world record spacewalk lasting 9 hours. A Chinese company successfully tests a supersonic aircraft ramjet, advancing China's efforts to develop a supersonic engine capable of transporting passengers from Beijing to New York in just 2 hours.
NASA unveille à large Mars chopé featuring 6 rotorblades.
In Syria to Xinjiang link, China warns leaders in Damascus not to threaten security elsewhere. UN migration chief tells AFP, not advising large-scale returns to Syria now. Human Rights Watch says Israel's deprivation of water in Gaza is act of genocide. CATL plans to construct 1,000 electric vehicle battery swap stations across China to alleviate range anxiety. Additionally, CATL has collaborated on the development of 10 new electric vehicle models that feature swappable batteries. The EPA has granted a waiver for California's Advanced Clean Cars 2 regulations, which apply to light-duty vehicles, as well as its Omnibus Low NOx regulation for heavy-duty highway and off-road vehicles and engines. The announcement of the world's first grid-scale nuclear fusion power plant has been made in the United States. Chinese behavior remarks by MIT scientist Rosalind Picard rattle top AI conference, as NeurIPS keynote speaker apologizes for reference to Chinese student. Flat earthers befuddled as they visit Antarctica and Earth appears to be round. Cats beat babies at word association, study finds. A survey reports that more than half of Hong Kongers are experiencing depression, marking the highest level in 7 years. In 2025, the Oregon psilocybin industry in the U.S. will concentrate on refining its pioneering program. A study has revealed that a Chinese gene has remained unchanged for 3,000 years in the region known as the cradle of civilization. El Salvador plans to reduce its Bitcoin initiatives as part of a $1.4 billion IMF agreement. Hong Kong has granted licenses to 4 new cryptocurrency trading platforms in its regulatory advancement. Illegal casinos are exploiting the online game platform Roblox to attract children into gambling activities. Databricks co-founder proposes a $1 million reward to address AI coding challenges. IDC reveals that China has surpassed other countries to become the largest market for wrist-worn devices, driving global expansion. A Chinese self-driving trucking firm shifts its focus to generative AI for developing video games. Recent studies indicate that the moon might have originated just a brief time following the formation of the Earth. A full mastodon jaw was discovered in New York when a homeowner noticed teeth in their backyard. The earliest recognized mammal ancestors have been found on the Spanish island of Majorca.
Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition, December 18, 2024, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs from December 6 to December 12, 2024. PT features Rose and Bruno Mars. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars collaborate on Die with a Smile. Madhu Banti Bakshi and Divya present A.J. Ki Rat. Peelings is by Kundakuri Shankar Babu and Lakshmi Dasa. Spotify's global weekly top songs from December 6 to December 12, 2024. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars Die with a Smile. Rose and Bruno Mars APT. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. And Wham's Last Christmas. Nintendo US digital top seller starting December 9, 2024. No More Snow, Hogwarts Legacy fueled up. Master Spy, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Steam's most popular games. Discover the globally top-selling and top-played games on Steam. Based on the top 100 products by revenue list, for the period from Tuesday, December 3, 2024, to Tuesday, December 10, 2024. Path of Exile 2, Counter-Strike 2, Marvel Rivals, PUBG Battlegrounds, Indiana Jones and The Great Circle. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA and EPA have issued a joint fact sheet highlighting the dangers that internet-connected HMIs present to the WWS sector. Jeffrey Xiang's Trellis Image Large is a substantial 3D asset generation model. It processes text or image prompts to produce high-quality 3D assets in formats like radiance fields, 3D Gaussians, and meshes. The foundation of Trellis is a unified structured latent SLAT representation, enabling decoding into various output formats. It utilizes rectified flow transformers specifically designed for SLAT as its robust backbones. A large-scale pre-trained models with parameters reaching up to 2 billion, trained on a vast 3D asset dataset containing 500K diverse objects. Trellis notably outperforms existing methods, including recent ones at comparable scales, and demonstrates adaptable output format selection and local 3D editing capabilities, which were absent in previous models. FTC, Illinois Attorney General take action against Grubhub for harming diners, workers, and small businesses, as company to pay $25 million, end junk fees and backup earnings claims to resolve charges of consumer protection and competition law violations. FTC issues rules requiring hotels, ticket sellers to reveal junk fees. In the U.S., students overpaid elite colleges $685 million, price-fixing suit says. 2 months ago it has been reported as Harvard and Yale among dozens of universities targeted in financial aid price-fixing lawsuit. Meta has been penalized with a fine of $263 million due to a security breach in 2018 that impacted approximately 3 million Facebook users in the European Union. Interpol is calling for the discontinuation of the term pig butchering, as it is believed to cause distress to victims of online scams. A recent poll in the United States reveals that 41% of young voters consider the killing of the United Healthcare CEO to be an acceptable action. Reuters indicates that China intends to set a record budget deficit of 4% of GDP in 2025, according to sources. CNBC states that UK inflation increased to 2.6% in November, aligning with expectations, as UK inflation reaches an 8-month high of 2.6%, prompting calls to maintain interest rates. It has been noted that the Biden administration's gas export report might challenge Trump's energy policy, as the Biden administration releases an LNG export study, advising caution on new permits. BBC Studios and the Walt Disney Company have unveiled their first Bluey animated feature film. Tom Cruise has been honored with the U.S. Navy's highest civilian award. The directors for Beyond the Spider-Verse have been announced as Bob Persichetti and Justin K. Thompson. The Supreme Court declined to hear appeals from broadband groups challenging New York's rate caps, upholding the state's low-income broadband rate law. Elon Musk and SpaceX are under federal scrutiny for breaching security reporting regulations. It has been reported that Shine will need to hand over Indian data and control of local operations to re-enter the Indian market. Russia apprehends an Uzbek citizen in connection with a bomb attack that killed a high-ranking general. Taiwan is negotiating with Amazon's Kuiper regarding satellite communications due to concerns about China. The Department of Homeland Security reports that China, Russia, Iran, and Israel are using SS-7 to spy on individuals in the United States. YouTube announces that its technology will soon detect AI replicas of celebrities and creators. This comes as YouTube collaborates with CAA to allow talent to identify and remove AI deepfakes of themselves. Meanwhile, a U.S. trade tribunal determines that Lenovo smartphones violate Ericsson patents. Additionally, Forbes is severing relationships with freelance writers due to Google spam policies. The European Super League has been reintroduced as the Unify League, which will be available for free viewing and will include 96 clubs. The NFL has signed an agreement with Betches to create football content specifically aimed at Gen Z and millennial women. Conor McGregor has expressed his willingness to participate in a boxing match with Logan Paul, which is scheduled to take place in India. Rivian will reduce vehicle production in 2024 due to supply chain problems that have intensified recently. Meanwhile, Reuters indicates that the Trump transition team intends to implement a comprehensive reversal of Biden's electric vehicle and emissions policies, with Trump also planning to decrease funding for electric vehicles and charging infrastructure. Additionally, Boston Dynamics is reducing its workforce by 5% as it faces financial difficulties. The notorious paper that widely promoted an unverified COVID-19 treatment has been withdrawn. According to the New York Times, major corporations accepted undisclosed payments to facilitate the unrestricted distribution of opioids. An Alabama woman is reportedly in exceptional health following the third-ever pig kidney transplant. According to doctors, she receives a kidney from a pig years after donating one herself. NATO assumes control of military aid coordination to Kiev from the U.S., according to a source. In the United States, a lawsuit alleges that the State Department has established loopholes for Israel regarding military aid and human rights, while Palestinians file a lawsuit against the State Department over U.S. military assistance to Israel. The BBC states that a plot to assassinate the Pope has been thwarted by UK intelligence. Musk and Trump are perceived similarly by Americans, according to an APNORC poll. Trump declares that federal employees unwilling to return to the office will be dismissed. It has been reported that Elon Musk is now wealthier than Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg together. UniCredit increases its control of voting rights in Commerzbank to 28%. Starting in 2027, the U.S. will mandate rear seat belt reminders in all vehicles. A driverless bus service in Scotland will be discontinued because of insufficient interest. Women victimized in rape club at California prison get record $116 million settlement. U.S. repatriates 3 Guantanamo detainees, leaving 27 at prison, as U.S. releases a Kenyan prisoner held for nearly 18 years without charges, and Pentagon repatriates 2 Malaysian prisoners who admitted to war crimes linked to Bali bombing. Suspect charged with killing United Healthcare's CEO as an act of terrorism. Popeye and Tintin will become public domain characters in 2025, joining works by Faulkner and Hemingway. Disney has removed a transgender storyline from Pixar's Win or Lose series, stating that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects on their own terms. A UCLA diversity report reveals that white men dominate the most watched streaming shows as lead actors, series creators, and audiences desire fresh, more diverse content. Canada has implemented economic sanctions targeting 5 Venezuelan officials, among them the president of the High Court. Authorities in the United States have apprehended 2 Colombian individuals involved in human smuggling. Bolivia has released an arrest warrant for former President Morales concerning trafficking a minor. Walmart is testing body cameras for staff, amid rising shopper violence in the retail sector. Honda and Nissan are set to discuss a possible large-scale merger, following a joint research agreement on fundamental technologies for future SDV platforms. Newborns of TSMC employees in Taiwan account for 1.8% of the nation's total births in 2023. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella claims that Google earns more revenue from Windows than Microsoft itself, highlighting Google's stronghold in search and distribution. Bing search is enhanced with speed, accuracy, and efficiency using SLM models and TensorRT-LLM, Seagate introduces a 32 terabytes Exos M hard drive utilizing HAMR technology. U.S. imposes sanctions on an entity and individuals involved in a virtual currency money laundering network, supporting the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. U.S. targets North Korea with sanctions for backing Russia and advancing ballistic missile technology. U.S. imposes sanctions on drug traffickers associated with New Zealand. In the United States, the Department of Homeland Security (DHS) has introduced a final rule to assist companies in filling more positions and to enhance worker protections within the H-2 programs. Additionally, the DHS has fortified the H-1B program, enabling U.S. employers to more swiftly fill essential roles. Meanwhile, Trump's transition team is considering the expansion of ankle monitors for illegal immigrants who are not in custody. Furthermore, a survey reveals that over half of Generation X parents are concerned about financially supporting their children into adulthood. Approximately 36 high-rise buildings in South Florida are reportedly sinking. Paul Watson, a whaling activist, has been freed after Denmark declined to extradite him. 5 months prior, he was detained in Greenland at Japan's request. Scientists have discovered that barn owls camouflage themselves by mimicking the moon. Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition, December 17, 2024, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs from December 6 to December 12, 2024. PT features Rose and Bruno Mars. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars collaborate on Die With a Smile. Madhu Banti Bakshi and Divya present A.J. Ki Rat. Peelings is by Kundakuri Shankar Babu and Lakshmi Dasa. Spotify's global weekly top songs from December 6 to December 12, 2024. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars Die With a Smile. Rose and Bruno Mars APT. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. And Wham's Last Christmas. Nintendo US digital top seller starting December 9, 2024. No More Snow, Hogwarts Legacy, Fueled Up, Master Spy, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Steam's most popular games. Discover the globally top-selling and top-played games on Steam. Based on the top 100 products by revenue list, for the period from Tuesday, December 3, 2024, to Tuesday, December 10, 2024. Path of Exile 2, Counter-Strike 2, Marvel Rivals, PUBG Battlegrounds, Indiana Jones and The Great Circle. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA and EPA have issued a joint fact sheet highlighting the dangers that internet-connected HMIs present to the WWS sector. Jeffrey Xiang's Trellis ImageLarge is a substantial 3D asset generation model. It processes text or image prompts to produce high-quality 3D assets in formats like radiance fields, 3D Gaussians, and meshes. The foundation of Trellis is a unified structured latent SLAT representation, enabling decoding into various output formats. It utilizes rectified flow transformers specifically designed for SLAT as its robust backbones. A large-scale pre-trained models with parameters reaching up to 2 billion, trained on a vast 3D asset dataset containing 500K diverse objects. Trellis notably outperforms existing methods, including recent ones at comparable scales, and demonstrates adaptable output format selection and local 3D editing capabilities, which were absent in previous models. Tokyo introduces a free daycare policy to encourage an increase in the birth rate. It has been described as Wall Street bankers working 90 hours a week, using Adderall at their desks. Research indicates that over 1 million vapes are discarded daily in the UK. In the UK, Watchdog is set to release new guidelines following a report that suggests air fryers might be eavesdropping. An astonishingly lifelike AI Santa is now available for free use, potentially rendering traditional mall Santas obsolete. Googly eyes have been spotted on public art in Oregon. Swedish minister considers additional strategies to address the energy crisis, attributing it to Germany's nuclear phase-out. Serbia aims to decrease Russian control in the oil giant to steer clear of sanctions. With the U.S. preparing to impose sanctions on Serbia's leading oil company due to Russian ownership, Vučić states. Finland becomes the first country globally to prohibit cargo ships from discharging wastewater. In Brazil, CID informed the PF that funds for the coup attempt came from individuals involved in agribusiness. Additionally, Braga Neto became the first four-stars general to be arrested in the country since 1964. A video suggests the Assad regime's participation in extensive illicit drug trafficking. During a French league match between PSG and Lyon, the referee paused the game due to homophobic chants. Waymo is broadening its global reach by introducing its autonomous vehicle fleet to Tokyo. Meanwhile, ARM and Qualcomm have initiated a trial concerning AI PC chips. Additionally, gallium prices have surged to their highest level since 2011 due to export restrictions imposed by China. Google DeepMind's VO2 AI video generator surpasses OpenAI's Sora by offering 4K resolution. YouTube is now allowing creators to choose to participate in third-party AI training. Meta is introducing live AI, translations, and Shazam capabilities to its smart glasses. SoftBank CEO and Trump reveal a $100 billion investment in the U.S. by the company. Kioxia, a semiconductor leader, plans to go public on the 18th, focusing on AI applications, but its market capitalization is under half of the anticipated value. Time, an African digital bank, secures a $250 million funding round led by Nubank, valuing the company at $1.5 billion. Amazon allegedly ignored internal injury warnings. According to a Senate investigation, Alibaba from China plans to sell its department store division, resulting in a $1.3 billion loss. Australians are being cautioned to brace for extreme heat and potential fires, affecting millions. In the U.S., 4 National Film Registry Dirty Dancing, Beverly Hills Cop, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre among 25 movies added 2024. Scream 7 sets Mason Gooding to return for horror sequel. A once-a-century superflare from the sun is long overdue, scientists say, as violent superflares explode from sun-like stars every 100 years. Reuters indicates that Congo has initiated criminal complaints against Apple in Europe concerning conflict minerals. Meta is set to pay $31.85 million to resolve an Australian privacy lawsuit associated with the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Trump has convened with the TikTok CEO as the video app contests a potential ban, with TikTok appealing to the Supreme Court to halt a law that might prohibit the popular app. YouTube is currently testing a feature that allows creators to post voice notes as comments. The developer of Balatro humorously criticizes Peggy for rating the game 18+ due to its evil playing cards and suggests adding microtransactions like those in EA Sports FC 25 to potentially reduce the rating to a 3+. The producer of Black Myth, Wukong, appears frustrated about not winning Game of the Year. Pope reveals he was target of suicide bomb attempt during 2021 Iraq visit, and Pope Francis reveals 2 attempts on his life during 2021 visit to Iraq. U.S. probes Spain for reportedly blocking port for ships with weapons for Israel. 10 days ago, shipping giant Maersk violated Spanish embargo on sending military goods to Israel, researchers say. Trump says Russia and Ukraine peace may be harder than Middle East. Less than 50% of Latinos in the U.S. have sufficient health insurance. The U.S. Census Bureau is now including refugees in its immigrant statistics. BofA Global Research anticipates that 2025 will see continued strength in the equity market despite macroeconomic uncertainties. BofA economists and strategists predict that the U.S. economy will surpass expectations, and the S&P 500 will reach 6,666 by the end of the year. Studies suggest that the axon terminals of neurons might be irregular in shape rather than smooth. Distinct microbial communities have been found under the icy surface of Antarctica's Lake Enigma. Research indicates that humans began feeding salmon to dogs around 12,000 years ago, possibly indicating the early stages of our bond with canines. Chinese e-commerce merchants established their presence in Russian online marketplaces. Temu becomes the top downloaded app on the U.S. App Store in 2024. Walmart collaborates with delivery company Meituan to enhance China e-commerce sales. Khloe Kardashian will debut her video podcast on X in January. A study by York University suggests that banning smartphones at school leads to better sleep and an enhanced mood. The European Union plans to investigate TikTok's involvement in the Romanian elections. Kamala Harris aide admits Democrats losing hold of culture as influencer media shifts right. Trump says he'll sue pollster and Selzer for wrong prediction. AP reports that Man sentenced for helping pregnant Chinese women travel to give birth in the U.S. As Rancho Cucamonga man sentenced to more than 3 years in prison for operating birth tourism scheme for affluent Chinese clients. Ukraine claims it's behind Moscow blast that killed head of Russia's nuclear defense forces. EU moves towards suspending visa-free travel for Georgian diplomats. First batch of U.S.-made M1A2T tanks arrives in Taiwan. Trump expresses willingness to pardon NYC Mayor Eric Adams. NYC Mayor's campaign rejects millions in public matching funds. Steve Bannon asserts Trump's eligibility to run again in 2028. Trump claims he called off his trip to Bedminster due to drones in New Jersey, while a drone detection system is now in place in New York following unexplained sightings. The UK is reconsidering social media regulation following the far-right riots of summer 2024, and is examining ways to compel more transparency in AI training models. Nearly 800 individuals have been apprehended in connection with the Nigerian crypto romance scam. Syria's former leader, Assad, claims he intended to continue the conflict, but his Russian allies arranged for his evacuation. According to the Financial Times, Assad transported $250 million in cash from Syria to Russia over a span of 2 years. Meanwhile, a prisoner who previously identified himself as a victim of the Assad regime is reportedly an intelligence officer, as stated by local residents. Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition, December 16, 2024, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs from December 6 to December 12, 2024. PT features Rose and Bruno Mars. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars collaborate on Die with a Smile. Madhu Banti Bakshi and Divya present A.J. Ki Rat. Peelings is by Kundakuri Shankar Babu and Lakshmi Dasa. Spotify's global weekly top songs from December 6 to December 12, 2024. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars Die with a Smile. Rose and Bruno Mars APT. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. And Wham's Last Christmas. Nintendo US digital top seller starting December 9, 2024. No More Snow, Hogwarts Legacy, Fueled Up, Master Spy, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Steam's most popular games. Discover the globally top-selling and top-played games on Steam. Based on the top 100 products by revenue list, for the period from Tuesday, December 3, 2024, to Tuesday, December 10, 2024. Path of Exile 2, Counter-Strike 2, Marvel Rivals, PUBG Battlegrounds, Indiana Jones and The Great Circle. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA and EPA have issued a joint fact sheet highlighting the dangers that internet-connected HMIs present to the WWS sector. Jeffrey Xiang's Trellis ImageLarge is a substantial 3D asset generation model. It processes text or image prompts to produce high-quality 3D assets in formats like radiance fields, 3D Gaussians, and meshes. The foundation of Trellis is a unified structured latent SLAT representation, enabling decoding into various output formats. It utilizes rectified flow transformers specifically designed for SLAT as its robust backbones. A large-scale pre-trained models with parameters reaching up to 2 billion, trained on a vast 3D asset dataset containing 500K diverse objects. Trellis notably outperforms existing methods, including recent ones at comparable scales, and demonstrates adaptable output format selection and local 3D editing capabilities, which were absent in previous models. UK collaborates with Italy and Japan to create a British fighter jet to compete with America's F-35. German far-right leader raised doubts about NATO membership. 2 weeks ago, the German spy chief warned that Russia might challenge NATO's commitment to the Mutual Defense Clause. Norway plans to train Ukrainian F-16 pilots in Portugal. Kraken announced that 73% of cryptocurrency users intend to maintain their investments in the year 2025. In 2024, Solana emerged as the most attractive platform for new cryptocurrency developers, according to Electric Capital. The CFTC has filed a lawsuit against a pastor from Washington for a $6 million cryptocurrency Ponzi scheme. In the UK, Labour's promise to construct 1.5 million homes is hindered by a national crisis of skills shortages, according to a housing expert. 5 months ago, Labour instructed developers to prioritize building houses over addressing pollution. In the U.S., the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage has decreased to 6.6%. The Bank of England is adopting a cautious approach following a year that did not meet expectations on interest rates. Tokyo introduces a free daycare policy to encourage an increase in the birth rate. It has been described as Wall Street bankers working 90 hours a week, using Adderall at their desks. Research indicates that over 1 million vapes are discarded daily in the UK. In the UK, Watchdog is set to release new guidelines following a report that suggests air fryers might be eavesdropping. An astonishingly lifelike AI Santa is now available for free use, potentially rendering traditional mall Santas obsolete. Googly eyes, which have inexplicably gained popularity, have been spotted on public art in Oregon. In the United States, teenagers are reportedly leaving X and Facebook behind, with TikTok and WhatsApp gaining popularity, according to a claim in a report. Bloomberg notes that TikTok has hired experts for jobs, which contrasts with Trump's unclear position. The Mozy social networking app has been introduced to facilitate the development of more personal connections. Israel plans to shut its embassy in Dublin following Ireland's backing of a petition to the International Court of Justice regarding genocide. Experts suggest that Hong Kong and Xinjiang might be central to Kazakhstan's approach towards China. Iran's administration has decided not to enforce a new hijab law. Russia will introduce visa-free travel for Indian tourists beginning in 2025. Milan's Via Monte Napoleon is now recognized as the world's most expensive shopping street. British Sikhs are reportedly being questioned about their opinions on India at UK airports, according to a Labour MP. Netanyahu asserts that Israel has no interest in confronting Syria, while simultaneously planning to double its population on the occupied Golan Heights, citing threats from Syria. This move has been described as Israel expanding into the Golan Heights, creating a new front in Syria. The U.S. requests Israel to authorize urgent military assistance to Palestinian security forces. Turkey claims that Syria's new rulers have agreed to dismantle Kurdish forces. Microsoft has announced the removal of passwords for 1 billion users, coinciding with a 200% increase in attacks. In 2024, AI assistants enabled Telegram to eliminate 15 million potentially harmful groups and channels. Germany has taken action to block Badbox malware, which was found on 30,000 Android devices. Swedish minister considers additional strategies to address the energy crisis, attributing it to Germany's nuclear phase-out. Serbia aims to decrease Russian control in the oil giant to steer clear of sanctions. With the U.S. preparing to impose sanctions on Serbia's leading oil company, due to Russian ownership, Vučić states. Finland becomes the first country globally to prohibit cargo ships from discharging wastewater. A photocatalytic system using light can decompose PFAS at ambient temperature. China introduces a new compact radiation detection chip to enhance semiconductor self-reliance. A novel mathematical model proposes the possibility of reviving cells. Romney forecasts Vance as the GOP's 2028 nominee, asserts MAGA is the Republican Party, and states you can't complain if Trump fulfills his promises. Trump and his appointees are poised to initiate additional lawsuits concerning unfavorable media portrayals. TikTok influencers are leaving Romania due to a tax investigation into their involvement in the elections. Chemical castration involves medication to reduce pedophiles' sexual desires, but experts indicate it does not stop attacks. Survival rates for melanoma are associated with the thickness of the tumor. A study reveals that refrigerated raw milk can contain the influenza virus for up to 5 days. Nearly 1,000 individuals are believed to have perished following the impact of Cyclone Cheeto on Mayotte. The WWF has identified a vampire hedgehog and an eyelash viper among over 200 newly discovered species in Southeast Asia. A study reveals that Britain is at the forefront of global efforts to suppress climate activism. Hong Kong NGO alerts to increase in student suicides following record of 10 cases at term beginning. Survey reveals that 1 in 4 parents are employing the tactic of withholding gifts to manage their children's behavior. In the United States, the Social Security retirement age is scheduled to be adjusted in 2025. Greece plans to limit bank fees for money transfers, according to the Prime Minister. Meanwhile, Russia is preparing for a significant rate increase due to concerns about inflation. 10 days prior, the Russian central bank governor stated that the December 20th rate hike is not predetermined. Additionally, The Economist notes that the World Bank is facing challenges in assisting all 78 impoverished nations, despite announcing a record $100 billion in support for the world's poorest countries. Open global trade is the sole solution to feeding the world, according to the WTO chief. The UK has become the first European member of the Indo-Pacific Trade Bloc (CPTPP). Nicaragua has introduced a new canal route to compete with Panama. Apple is reportedly working on a large foldable iPad, aiming for a 2028 release, and is planning thinner, foldable iPhones to stimulate growth. The film Kraven the Hunter has opened with $11 million at the box office, marking the lowest debut for Sony/Marvel. The London Stock Exchange is experiencing its largest departure in 15 years, as the former chief executive raises concerns. In Brazil, CID informed the PF that funds for the coup attempt came from individuals involved in agribusiness. Additionally, Braga Neto became the first four-stars general to be arrested in the country since 1964. A video suggests the Assad regime's participation in extensive illicit drug trafficking. During a French league match between PSG and Lyon,